of the team? Going on the road, open up in the Big Ten, being down, it looked like it was going in a different direction, but you guys fought back. What can you say about that?
It was great to see. One of the things we've been talking about as coaches is we want to see how our guys will respond when we face some adversity. And obviously we faced some adversity in week one, but being down on the road is a different deal. And super excited about how they responded, man. Just stuck together on the sideline. There was a belief on the sideline that we would win the game, and we fought. We fought to the last 4 seconds, and got it done. So I think it says a lot about the culture of the building, culture of our team, and the direction that this program's headed.
Great. You had a big sophomore year yourself. Can you imagine at age 17 in that environment doing what Nick did?
Nick being Nick, me recruiting, I expect it. I don't, maybe not the numbers that he put up, but he's a talented kid, man. And that won't be just a flash in the bucket type of deal.
Talent aside, emotionally, psychologically, what allowed him to do that?
I think his preparation, his overall approach to the game. I mean, his overall approach to life. He's a well-centered kid, well-grounded. Studies, knows multiple positions on our team. Got some leadership qualities about him. He is just, he's that kind of kid you want in your room. He's like a program changer, type of athlete, and very humble. You never know that he had 194 yards. He's out there practicing his tail off. Right now, the next play is the most important play. So, great kid to have on your team.
Wondering about not just his route running on the long passes, but also what you saw from your guys in the 2-minute drills at the end of the two halves, and what they did on some of those routes and working with Aiden.
I'll tell you what, that's just, they brought the practice field to the game field. We go 2-minute a couple times a week. We stress the importance of it, the details of it. The details of route running is something that, I'm big on. And they stuck to the plan. And it was great to see them, under pressure, not fold, not try something new because it's, only 1 minute left in the game. I'm going to try to make the play. They stuck to the plan, and it was great to see.
The week one, nobody had 30 yards receiving. You coming off that game, what are your thoughts knowing what you've seen from those guys in practice?
Well, I felt like game one, the lights were on. There were some big time errors in game one. We had great improvement from game one to game two. It's something that you want to see as a coach, and now we want to see improvement from game two to game three. But what happened, last week is that's the standard. That's the expectation here at Michigan State of receivers to go out and make plays, and we're given the opportunity, and we had some opportunities. We capitalized. It's great for the room. You got 3 guys that's got in the paint. I mean, there's a bunch of smiling going on in there, so guys are working their tail off.
Did you get this? Torrey in particular, he did not have a great opener. He had the bobble on the first play and the fumble. From a veteran guy who what was the kind of the message to him and what you saw in the response?
Really, the message was just, be yourself. Don't worry about, it's water under the bridge. It's over with. I know what kind of player you are. You know what kind of player you are. Your teammates know what kind of player you are. All right, now let's go out and do it. And he had a great week of work, and showed on the field on Saturday.
How much within his play calling was meant not just to get Aiden in a rhythm, but to get Montori and Jerron kind of thinking ahead rather than thinking back?
I think it's always important to get the wideouts involved early. It wasn't so much that coach had a plan to, get them the ball early. It was just kind of the play calling. But the earlier we get touches, the more engaged wideouts seem to become. The longer it takes, and the position has a little bit of selfishness to it. This is what it is. So when you give a guy a ball or two, then he's like, okay, now I'm gonna go out here and block a little harder. I'm gonna run a little faster on this post that's clearing out for the dig. So it all works together.
Is there anything that Nick did that you noticed that maybe just the average observer might not have noticed, like some below the surface level that you liked about what he was doing out there?
The one thing is that he played fast on every route, and then also, we get into talking about stems on routes, and he was just, he was so precise on a couple of the long balls, the stems that he ran, and resetting guys at the top. You know, some things that veteran guys would do, guys that are in their, you know, second, third year in college. It was great to see him just, I mean, he put on a couple of them will be training, they'll be on my training reel. Like, you know, this is how we run this particular route. You know, so just to see the route discipline from him in week 2, as we said already, from a 17-year-old young man, you know, was great to see.
I'm guessing you let him know that you still had a couple more yards than him, and
No, we haven't had that discussion, but like I said before, I'm recruiting guys to knock me out of the top 10. There's no way after 30 years, or however many years it's been, that I should be in the top 10, especially in the kind of offenses that are of today's offense versus the offenses then. So everybody I'm trying to get here at Michigan State should be able to knock me out, hopefully.
How much do you think the culture of accountability has kind of been restored here? I mean, you have the coaching staff, particularly after the first game, Jonathan, maybe he should have, you know, kicked a field goal, you know, instead of going for it on that 4th down. And you also have, you know, Brian saying that, you know, maybe he should have gotten Aiden in a rhythm. I mean, when the players hear that the coaches are, you know, admitting some mistakes and, you know, wanting to do that, how much does that make them want to take ownership of their own errors on the field?
I mean, I think the statements you made, you know, we just let our guys know we're all in this together, and nobody's perfect. You know, they're gonna make errors. We're gonna coach them up. We're gonna make errors. We'll coach ourselves up, coach each other up, and they know that we got their back, and we need them to have our back when we make a bad call or do something in hindsight to say, you know, I would have did it a different way. You know, like I said, man, this building, like there's sunshine in the building. It's a great building to be in. You know, we went through a rough patch. Guys depend on each other, believe in each other, and playing hard for one another.
Going back to Nick, I mean, obviously in his recruitment, I mean, he had a lot of offers from elsewhere, particularly, you know, a Big Ten rival. Yet he stayed the course. I mean, how much did you get a sense of his character in the recruitment to kind of, you know, go through that rough patch with you guys last year?
You know, we started recruiting Nick early, like, you know, 9th grade. So I know him really well. I know his whole family. You know, the way he handled things, he handled it professionally. He called me, let me know. And you know, his reasoning was that, you know, he wanted to be honest. He didn't want me to hear something through the media. The way it was handled is Nick Marsh. You know, and you know, there was no panic here by me. You know, I knew where I stood at. You know, they wanted to see some other stuff. I wasn't really tripping. I just kept, you know, just quiet. We were on the phone, you know, making sure, you know, you ain't going too far. You go ahead and go take a look, but you know where home is. So just kept the fight, man. And that, you know, that's recruiting these days. And you know, when he was ready, you know, he recommitted. But I honestly felt like that I was going to get him back.
With all the success that he had as a 9th grader, and all the attention he got, media and everything, are you impressed that he stayed focused and stayed humble, kind of, and let? How difficult is that for a young athlete to have that much attention and success in 9th grade and come out the way he is right now as a college freshman? Is that a challenge when you?
It's a challenge. It's a challenge because you get a bunch of attention from, you know, all different areas. But like I said about him earlier, man, he is one of the coolest, humble kids, hard workers that you'll meet. Like I said, I mean, he's coming off this huge game. You would think he only caught one pass. He's sitting in the front row. He's stayed after taking extra notes. He's just being Nick Marsh. His mom did a tremendous job with him, making sure that, you know, that he's just a great person. He's a really good, like I said before, he is great for Michigan State outside of football. He's a great kid to have on campus.
How much does his personality and his personality blending and meshing help that connection, help the rest of the offense?
Well, like I said, man, you know, receivers and QBs, you know, you got a great relationship, man. It's something special about it. Those two dudes, you see them, you know, they eat together, they hang out together. You know, having a great relationship, you know, off the field allows them to be able to speak to each other in maybe a little different language than, than you talk to your typical friend. But they're growing. They're both growing together. You know, there's been a little bit of this these first two games, but you know nobody's been too high with the highs, too low with the lows. They stay consistent. You know, work their tails off during practice, and you know, getting ready for Prairie View.
Would like Sunday or kind of proud father type of thing when you're watching Jaden and Jalen and Keon, these guys who you helped develop it, and there they are at the highest
No,
level.
it's pretty cool, man. To watch those guys, man. You know, anybody that came through here that I've had an opportunity to work with, you know, whether they left and for whatever reason they went to some other college, and you know, I kind of track them all. I mean, I might not hit them up or anything, but I'll see how they did. You know, because part of this deal is about relationships. You know, so I want everybody to flourish. I know that everybody that comes in here, you know, you ask them, they want to play on the next level. So you know, I'm super excited for them. You know, I've been down that path, that journey, so I know how it is to play on Sunday, and you know, opening week and all the hoopla that goes on with that. And, you know, so it's always fun to watch the kids.
Can we show you Fitzpatrick's catch?
I did see it. He stabbed everybody. that was impressive catch.
Yeah, I'm wondering about Dietz and Isaiah too. I mean, the snaps they got after Jerron went out, like how big is that as a building block for those guys when you know got a couple guys that either dinged up or out in the line?
I think it's huge, you know, for the room, you know, first of all, and then for them, you know, they were thrust into action. You know, the plan was to play them. You know, they had the opportunity to play and went in, and you know, for the most part, got lined up, executed the plays, and you know, like I said, that all helps the room. You know, everybody gets a chance to kind of, you know, get there and go at it a little bit. Makes practice a little better. You know, because guys feel like, you know, I'll be playing this week. So I'm really proud of those guys who got in and you know, helped us get the dub.
Court, one more thing about Nick. Mama said after the commit, decommit, recommit, all of that, there were schools, one in particular, that wouldn't quit, and the bag just kept getting bigger. What's it like for a coach in that situation? And then she says it's a 4-year decision, not 4 years or 4 months. What does that mean?
Well, for me, that means it's about the relationship. It was about the relationship that I built with the Marsh family from the very beginning. You know, it wasn't all about ball. You know, it's all, you know, part of this deal is you know, as we said, Nick's 17. You know, she knows that, and I made her a promise that I'll help her young boy grow into a man when he leaves here. You know, and that's part of this process. And I think that was bigger than any other influences that were thrown his way. You know, and our relationship is as strong as it's ever been, along with her and the girls. You know, so it's exactly what I thought it would be. And I think the best from him is really the best is yet to come. I mean, that was just. We'll be standing here again, trust me.
As an assistant, are you aware when the numbers keep going up and up and up? Something like that?
You mean like from
Yeah.
catches and yards?
No, I mean other schools. They keep.
You know, you always hear a bunch of rumors.
Yeah.
You know, so you try not to get involved in that, because at the end of the day, you find out, you know, some are true, some are not. You know, you just try to be, for me, I just be authentic, I be myself. And you know, I let guys know, you know, this is the kind of training you're gonna get, this is what we're gonna get off the field, this is the program. You know, I'm the dude that you're gonna feel like you need to invite to your wedding because we got that kind of relationship. You know, that's what it's all about for me.
You
You mentioned that Aiden and Nick are building something together, and Aiden and Nick have both talked about how they hold each other accountable, and it's one of their best qualities as like friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think they have the potential to be like, you know, not this season necessarily, but down the line, you know, one of the better quarterback, wide receiver duos in the country?
Oh, no question. There's no question about that. You know, they're both young. They're both just scratching the surface. You know, Aiden's 18. You know, I think people forget about that because he's starting here at Michigan State, but he's an 18-year-old young man. And Nick's 17. You know, so, you know, who knows? 2-3 years from now, I mean, these dudes could be, you know, the #1 quarterback in the country, and the number one wideout in the country. And I really expect it to be that. I think they are that talented to be mentioned in those type of phrases in a couple years, if not this year.
You run a couple 2-minute drills at the end of each half. Did you notice, does the helmet deal make that any smoother or quicker, or is it just same old that you saw?
For the most part, when we get into our true 2-minute mode, like we were, those were hand signaled, most of them.
Okay.
Because we're going so fast, and then it's so loud, Aiden can communicate to everybody, so now our eyes are going to the sideline, and we're kind of signaling things.
So that's kind of taken out of it even at that
Well,
point?
there may be some kind of, I'm pretty sure, Lindgren is speaking to him on, here's what the play call is going to be, maybe, giving him a couple tidbits before that 15-second goes, but remember, we're just trying to snap that ball as fast as possible, so, that just comes from, practice, practice. We did 2 minute, the 2 minute today, we'll be 2 minute tomorrow.
When you say that about Aiden and Nick being number one, I mean, you look at that through the prism of your NFL experience. I mean, knowing what a player at that level looks like.
Yeah, I actually look at everything through that lens. Everything, recruiting. I can't help it. I mean, I think sometimes as maybe as a fault, but knowing what I know and the guys that I've been around and the rooms that I've been in over my 9-year career, playing and being around some great quarterbacks, these two kids have the gifts and the talent to play at that level. Now it's just a matter of nurturing them, them growing as men, and continuing to absorb this offense, take in the details. Like I said, man, the sky's the limit, but they are talented.
Yeah.
They're some talented young dudes.
How valuable is it, having that reference point, knowing what it looks like at that level, to experience it and seeing it up close?
I mean, I think it's super valuable. When I'm talking to my guys, they know I'm talking from, being on the field. Most of the time we're making adjustments on the sideline. It's like it's not new to me. I've seen it before. They come to me talking on the sideline like, okay, this is what it should look like. This is what it is. And I think they respect that because they're like, I ain't talking out of no book. It's actually the college game to me looks in slow motion. If you honestly want to know, everything looks like it's just moving along slowly. So it's easy to coach, and the guys respect everything that I say to them.